Paul, the Lucky Luciano of Philemon 1. Bible stories, Qyltora. The prison dawn. Paul is locked up, but he's the freest man in the room. Rome thinks it has him contained. The churches know better. His letters move like contraband, circulating through the empire, slipping past guards, reshaping destinies. In Philemon Chapter 1, Paul doesn't preach. He pulls strings. He becomes the Lucky Luciano of the early church, a man whose influence is so lethal, so quietly absolute, that he can settle a dispute between a runaway slave and a wealthy master from inside a cell. This isn't diplomacy, it's spiritual racketeering. The runaway, Onesimus, isn't just a fugitive. He's a man who crossed the wrong boss. He fled Philemon's estate with more than fear in his pockets. Debt, property, maybe silver, maybe secrets. Rome doesn't care about motives. Rome cares about order. A runaway slave is a crack in the empire's armor. A thief is a stain on a master's reputation. He's living the ancient version of a mafia defector, a man who knows too much, owes too much, and ran too far. The master, Philemon, is respected, wealthy, influential. A church meets in his house. But every empire, Roman or corporate, runs on perception. A slave escapes. People whisper. People question whether the master has lost control. Philemon's crisis isn't financial, it's reputational. He stands between two worlds. The Roman world demands dominance. The gospel demands mercy. The prison meeting. Onesimus runs from one master and crashes into another. Paul. The irony is cosmic. The man in chains becomes the man who frees him. Paul calls Onesimus my son, not metaphorically, not poetically, but with the fierce loyalty of a mafia boss adopting a stray into his family. The offer. Paul writes a letter that reads like a mafia negotiation transcript. He could command the wealthy slave owner. He could threaten him. He could leverage his empire-wide influence. Instead, he makes an offer Philemon can't refuse. If he hath wronged thee, or oweth thee aught, put that on mine account. This is not kindness. This is power. Paul steps between master and slave, like a dawn stepping between two rival families. The ferocious destroyer. Philemon is already a believer, already a follower of Christ. But Paul knows something terrifying. Faith doesn't erase the monster inside you. It exposes it. Philemon must choose. Will he act like a Roman master or like a Christian brother? The collision. This is the moment where two worlds crash. Rome's brutality versus Christ's mercy. Philemon must decide whether Onesimus returns as property or as family. Forgiveness costs blood. Reconciliation costs pride. Mercy costs reputation. Paul is willing to pay the bill. Jesus paid it with his life. Philemon must decide whether he will pay with his ego. Action plan. Protect righteousness. Never let reputation outrank justice. Recognize transformation. If someone has changed, acknowledge it. Broker peace. Use influence to heal, not to intimidate. Remember your debt. Christ covered your ledger before asking you to clear someone else's. Final verdict. In the smallest book of the Bible, Paul proves something chilling. The strongest chains aren't forged in iron. They're forged in guilt, pride, revenge, and unforgiveness.